Alright, y'all. So in today's video, I am showing you guys my final 10 rental teams for Reg G, even though it might be over in like 15 days. It's either over in 15 days or a month and a half, I don't know. Either way, I'm really happy with how these teams turned out, and you got a little time to use them, right? So let's take a look, and thank you guys for being here. So first and foremost, we've got this version of my Palkia team that I built for week 2 of the NK games, which is not supposed to use any top 100 Pokemon for Reg G. So we've got Sandy Shocks with Bulldoze and then the normal stuff to pair with Telepathy Palkia. The Bulldoze is, definitely come in clutch at least once or twice when paired with Palkia, because you can do things like lead, Sandy Shocks Palkia versus like Miraidon and click the Ground Terra Earth Power plus Bulldoze, right, and move first. So you've got cool things to do like that. You can also start Sandy Shocks Ambipom and click like Bulldoze Flying Terra Thief into something like Caly Shadow. So lots of really interesting interplay there. Palkia I just did think was really good with the Ground Terra and the Earth power, because, Miraidon is very good right now, and it's just something to be aware of. You gotta beat Miraidon. Then we got the standard Espathra with Focus Sash. I like it, it performs a lot better than I expected. The Dark Terra is okay. I don't click Foul Play that often, but like it definitely can do things, especially into like Caly Ice and whatnot. So Life Orb Sylveon. Sylveon's still one of my favorite Pokemon, doing great things. The Hyper Voice Quick Attack Terra Blast set, still able to hit a lot of things for really good damage and put in a lot of work. Then we've got a really interesting Ambipom set with Flying Terra Acrobatics and Citrus Berry, Fake Out Triple Axle, and Thief. So lots of ways to be annoying and to just try to check things that might be a problem, like Landorus, Caly Shadow, and whatnot. But it's definitely not like perfect, and it does also change the way that you play the team quite a bit. So like before we had Ambipom, the main core that I was using was like Sandy Shocks, Espathra, Sylveon, Palkia, like all the time. And since I've added Ambipom, it does feel like you started a lot, but like it's good to remember that you don't really need to. And I've actually felt like Bronzong has been doing a lot more since I added Ambipom, which is nice, because I don't know, Bronzong is just actually very clutch. So Gyro Ball, Trick Room, Body Press, Iron Defense with that Fire Terra, which isn't perfect, but it works. So good team. Second team is my Life Orb Calyrex team. So another instance where I felt like Ground Terra was really good. I just kind of was looking at Calyrex one day and I was like, you know what, like, does Expanding Force Ground Terra Calyrex just beat like most of the format if you don't if you just have the right supports? Like if you have Indeedee with Follow Me and the Rocky Helmet, you're able to take the pressure off Calyrex, get through Sashes if you need to. A good bit of the things that run Sash, right? And then Ground Terra Calyrex just is kind of able to wall a lot of things. Walls Miraidon. I don't know. I don't feel like explaining it really well. It just worked in my head, and it worked on paper. So, like, you want to get through these teams. Choice Scarf Urshifu I think is just really good with Calyrex because it is, threatened by Ghost Pokemon and Dark Pokemon. So, you got the Wicked Blows, the close combats. This does have the standard Ambipom, and I really like it. Fake Out Last Resort, great set. Nothing to be said wrong about that. This Indeedee actually does not have any attacking moves, which is one of the ways that it helps to pair this, to to support this Calyrex even more. Not only, you know, does it take the pressure off Calyrex, but it also completely nullifies the opponent's ability to set up Trick Room on us. So, you know, we can just click Imprison and then start rolling away with the game. And then, yeah, Roaring Moon, Flying Terra. This is a very standard Roaring Moon. I don't really think it's like the Roaring Moon set that everyone thinks is the best right now because, I don't know, it's just meta change obviously, but it works. And then Ogre Pond for doing Ogre Pond things, plus additional redirection. So lots of ways to support Calyrex while also putting on a lot of pressure otherwise. So I was happy with how it turned out for sure. Third team is this Terapog Moltres team that we built in the beginning of the format. I actually liked this team so much that I never unreleased it. So we've had this team available to rent for almost like 3 months now, it feels like. I actually just really think that Calm Mind Terapagos is a really good Pokemon. Otherwise, without Calm Mind, Terapagos can actually be a very lackluster hitting Pokemon. Like, you think it's going to hit hard, and then it just, like, kind of chunks things, and you're like, oh, okay. Like, it can hit hard, but sometimes it just straight doesn't, and you're just like, oh, that's sad. So yeah, Calm Mind Terapagos, very good. With the ability to heal it with Comfey and Sinistra, just keeps it alive forever. Same with Moltres. Moltres likes being alive forever and setting up, so kind of got both of those to do that. And then Incineroar with the Assault Vest and Snarl has been really good to support them as well. Well, once again, having that additional support from Ogre Pond if you need more, follow me. So I really like how this team turned out too. Every time that I've used it so far, it's felt like incredibly good, so definitely consider trying it. Alright, so fourth team is the Calyrex Fast Boy team that me and XCZackX20 made together. So something that me and him did talk about at one point was that, like, literally just putting Tornadus on this team would probably make the team like 20 times better. So, you know, we do have 3 different Pokemon with Tailwind on this team, with Jugulis, Zapdos, and Pelipper. But, you know, the thing I kind of like about that is it still doesn't tell our opponent that we're going to click Tailwind. You know, it doesn't tell our opponent we have a fast Calyrex, but we do. And not only that, we have a Swords Dance fast Calyrex, my gang. So, like, this thing is scary. It can do a lot of work. And something I felt like we were seeing with this Calyrex is that, like, you literally don't even need attack investment for Calyrex Ice to be good, because this thing is max speed, max HP. So, lots of bulk, but we're fast, and we're still hitting, and it's pretty nice. So, Hands, you know, Hands does, ain't no contesting that. You know, it's got Fake Out, Heavy Slam for Fluter, Wild Charge for the boys, and Drain Punch also for the boys, so everything for the boys. Zapdos really good at warding away Intimidates, even though we have Clear Amulet, so it doesn't really matter. Yeah, so some pretty interesting choices. I feel like Ogre Pond and Rillaboom have been 2 of my favorite Pokemon to use for, like, the past format, so you will see lots of Ogre Ponds in my earlier teams for this format, and then lots of Rillabooms in my later teams for this format. So, yeah, great team. Moving on, we've got one of my more silly teams again. We've got a weakness policy Solgaleo. So, I just thought it'd be fun. I mean, a lot of the legendaries have strong attack and special attack, so, like, you can theoretically run a dual mode Solgaleo with Sunsteel Strike Expanding Force. I actually think it'd probably be a little bit better with Earthquake instead of Expanding Force. But, you know, we got fun stuff. Full Metal Body is basically just Clear Amulet, so that's tight. And Clear Body, right? So, standard Indeedee with, well, Psychic's not super standard. People have been switching back to Psychic from Dazzling Gleam, but I still think Dazzling Gleam is technically better. We've got Bug Terra Salamence, which is just the one that I like. I've been liking Bug Terra a lot recently on Dragons in this format. We got Breaking Swipe, Dual Wing Beat, Dragon Claw, and Bulldoze. So I probably could have run Tailwind if Salamence gets Tailwind, but I just didn't really think about it. And I like this set because it allows you to hit everything you need to, right? Like, Dragon Claw can still do better than Breaking Swipe. Dual Wing Beat can hit things like Rillaboom and Urshifu, even though you need Flying Terra to one-shot Urshifu with Dual Wing Beat. Urshifu, always a good Pokemon when your Legendary is weak against, when you have a Psychic Legendary, basically, that's weak against Dark and Ghost, so. And then Rillaboom. Rillaboom just really good for teams that don't necessarily appreciate Miraidon, which is like every team. And so, yeah, I mean, Rillaboom, I just feel like is absolutely clutch in the recent format, so good stuff. Going on, we've got a Mystic Water Kyogre with Torn and Choice Specs in DD Male. So, my idea with this team was that there's going to be a lot of instances where we can very safely just start, like, Torn Indeedee or Torn Landorus or something with Kyogre in the back or Indeedee in the back or whatever. And then, like, these two Pokemon on their own just put on so much pressure that it's really hard for your opponent to get around that, right? The Archaeodon is great too. We really just don't see Arch that much anymore, but like Stamina is good. Electro Shot, very scary. And then I've actually been feeling like while Landorus is, you know, picking up usage again, I actually think Landorus Theory and Choice Scarf is just as good as ever, if not a little better sometimes. It can one-shot Miraidon. Terra Blast is still very strong. Rock Slide's annoying. U-Turn, Intimidate. So Landorus's tools haven't really become less useful. You just don't see it that often. And I just feel like it was a really nice way to round out some of my teams that needed that niche of, you know, one more really good fast thing, right? Yeah, so I think that's all I'm going to say about this team for now. I want to try to get through it all nice and quickly. Another team with a Landorus. I felt like Landorus was a really good way to round out my Braixen team for Reg H. Reg G. Sorry, I'm getting ahead of myself. Because, you know, it is a Trick Room team, but Trick Room teams thrive the most when they have options that can win you the game when Trick Room ends, right? And so, because Zamazenta is fast, but, like, can still be good when it's not moving first, and then we have Landorus, you know, we do have two good fast options, and then a couple things that don't really mind moving last, like Rillaboom, Primarina sometimes. Vikavolt likes moving first. Vikavolt's a good Pokemon. So, you know, a lot of the times in this team, I do find myself leading, like, Braixen Rillaboom, Braixen Landorus, or something like that. And then just trying to set Trick Room, sweeping as much as I can in Trick Room, and then bringing out, like, Zamazenta and Landorus in the end and just trying to win. So, Throat Spray Primarina, really clutch. I feel like it just does so much damage. Like, Hyper Voice, Dazzling Gleam, Moonblast, you just run away. Like, Braixen really does what it's supposed to. Like I said, you don't want to be afraid to Terra it. Like, I Terra it quite a lot if I know I'm gonna need to, and it just works. Like, and then the Will-O-Wisp, like, is so clutch. Will-O-Wisp misses way more than it should, just like Origin Pulse, which is tragic, but, you know, you gotta just deal with it. And, yeah, I don't really think that the Poison Terra is perfect on Zamazenta, but, like, it works. I personally like it, but it was kind of just like a random decision in some sense. With Landorus, you don't want Earthquake because you have the grassy terrain, and grassy terrain halves the damage from Earthquake. So we do have Discharge, but we have Stomping Tantrum still, and it's really all you need, so not much of a problem. Going on to the next team, we have Weakness Policy Giratina. So I was kind of having a lot of fun just building in the later half of the format with the non-standard legendaries and sometimes giving them weakness policy. One of my favorite legendaries has always been Giratina. I just think it has such a cool design. And then it also has like very crazy impressive bulk. So great typing, great design, great bulk. Very fun using a Ghost Dragon. So yeah, we've got a weakness policy, Calm Mind Giratina with screens, healing from Comfey, extra healing from Rillaboom, King Gambit, again, kind of serving the same function as Urshifu, but serving the extra function of being able to set up. Well, technically Urshifu can also set up, it just doesn't always work as well. So that is something I might have wanted to think about, is just running like Swords Dance, Wicked Blow, right? But I like King Gambit. I do think its bulk really helps, especially when paired with Comfey. And then the Pelipper, I think in testing we never really found Tailwind that helpful, so we were considering taking Tailwind off for Protect, since this team really doesn't have like that many Protects. Sorry, I got hiccups for a second. But you know, it hasn't really like lost us any games yet, not being able to protect Pelipper, and maybe you will need Tailwind sometimes. So I don't know, like nothing on this team really needs Tailwind that bad, like unless your opponent just has like a team with no speed control. But like the only other time you would really benefit from Tailwind is clicking it and having Thunder Wave versus really fast teams. So kind of weird, but it works. Then we've got the Choice Specs Eternatus team. I've been testing Choice Specs Eternatus since like Sword and Shield technically, but I built the first version of this team before this format even started in this game, and this is kind of where we got with it. So a lot of the time I definitely do just click Steel Terra Tornadus plus Tailwind Sludge Wave, and like it goes really well. You don't have any Steel Pokemon on the team other than that, so you do need to play carefully and just remember, like, you might need to switch out Eternatus, but a lot of the times Eternatus does kind of just sweep, and it's nice. And, you know, sometimes you might even just leave Eternatus in and, like, proc your own Sash on Urshifu and just quick damage or something. You know what I mean? Like, sometimes you just have to read the situation. Like, sometimes it's actually better to just leave it in, hit your own Pokemon, and try to sweep. Like, I lost one yesterday because I didn't click Sucker Punch and KO my own Urshifu and just tried to protect, and their Calyrex lived on like 5%, and that wasn't good. So Icy Wind Fluttermane, really good support for Eternatus as well, since, you know, sometimes you just do need that extra speed control, or you're not going to want to leave Tornadus, and you don't need to, right? Because sometimes Tornadus is just taking up a slot that could be used by something else. Iron Hands, again, just really good Pokemon. It's one of those Pokemon that you don't see as much anymore, but when you do, you remember why it's so good. Like, its bulk and its ability to hit hard is still, like, kind of, you know, not something to scoff at. So, Urshifu, I think, just like Eternatus, Torn, Urshifu, or Ogre has felt like such a good core on this team, and then adding Iron Hands and Flutter just made it, you know, that much better by giving extra options. But we really can just usually roll things with that top four, so really fun. And here is the last team for the month. So again, thank you guys so much for being here. Thank you to anyone who has subscribed and has been supporting us, even though the channel has been moving incredibly slow recently and it's been kind of demotivating. But, you know, you guys really do help make it. I appreciate those of you who support. That's my point. Because I do care about the channel. So this is our last team for the month. We've got my Calyrex team that is recreated from Players Cup 4. So this was the team that I brought to Players Cup 4 in Scarlet and Violet. With some adjustments, of course. You know, this wasn't exactly what the original team looked like, but we've got Calyrex, Vikavolt, Torkoal, Wigglytuff, Slowbro, and Mudsdale. Another very weird-looking team, and another team that can do oh so much awesome stuff. So, competitive Wigglytuff is another great way to ward off those Intimidators, even though we have Clear Amulet still. And then we have Throat Spray Wigglytuff with Hyper Voice and Shadow Ball to deal with things like Lunala and Calyrex Shadow. So the Shadow Ball is really interesting way to get some stonks going. And, you know, it's obviously a ladder team. It benefits by taking your opponent off guard. But if you just remember what you're doing, like, this team can get wins incredibly effectively. It does not have some of the standard tools for getting those wins, however, like redirection and fake out. So you do need to play very carefully. Sometimes you need to apply pressure to get your Trick Room, and to say, even if you don't let me get Trick Room, I'm still winning. You know what I'm saying? So Slowbro is almost always the one I'm clicking Trick Room with. I'm really not like leading Calyrex that much. I like to lead like Slowbro Mudsdale, Slowbro Vikavolt, and then just try to click Trick Room and you know, do what we need to with the other guy, whether it's protecting or just like putting on pressure. And then, yeah, I mean, I honestly really like Life Orb Slowbro more than anything, just because of the amount of damage it does. But Covert Cloak Slowbro is going to be one of our best ways to guarantee Trick Room, because it can't be taunted, can't be faked out, can only be imprisoned, right? So, really good stuff. You do got to switch out if you're facing an Encore, so that is something to keep in mind. But, yeah, I mean, I don't know. What more is there to explain, right? It's Mudsdale Vikavolt. You click Trick Room, you try to prosper, you try to do big damage with Vikavolt and Mudsdale. Sometimes you want Torkoal, sometimes you want Wigglytuff. Sometimes Slowbro is the star of the team, and then sometimes Calyrex comes in and clicks Glacial Rings. So those are the teams. I hope you guys enjoyed. I'll have you guys a great video with the Ambipom Palkia team tomorrow, and then we'll have a video with the Eternatus team after that. So, really fun stuff. Thank you guys again, and have a good one.